Hi, everybody. Look at me. Look, you can't. I don't know how to fix my hair when it's reversed. Just you shake it loose. It's gonna be what it is. Okay, it's on this side. You don't expect to start a live stream this way. Hi. This actually is not a YouTube channel about hair or being silly. It's one about spiritual awakening and alignment. My name is Jamie Butler. I'm the Everyday Medium. And I thought today we would talk about some of the best ways to communicate to spirit, like opening up conversations. So, when is the right moment? What's the best questions to ask to maintain a connection? And how to stay open, not have all that kind of expectation weighing on you and maybe slowing down what the connection or the conversation is trying to say or do. So, if you're curious about talking to spirit, tune in, come forward. If you're curious about what I'm offering these days or what's going on in the JBM world, check out my website at jamiebutlermedium.com. You can head over there. You'll notice we have Sedona, a retreat at the end of this month of 2 days left before we close our ticket sales. And it's about accessing higher consciousness. The way I like to teach is with a lot of humor, uplift, exercise, activity, like to do it, to apply it in action so that you have your experiential knowledge rather than, book knowledge, because book knowledge doesn't get us that far when it comes to spiritual awakening. I also have 21 days of Reiki healing coming up starting in March 11th. That's where I have 21 consecutive days with 21 people. And they give you notes and we journey through. We're going to be working with the Luminaires on this one and doing some astral travel and projection going to the campus. If you want to know more, check out the website. We also have Reiki Mastership coming up, and that is a 2-day event in March, as well as building new relationships with loved ones coming up March 17th. Building new relationship with loved ones has a lot of the content that we're going to talk about today. And it's a way where you can continue having a relationship with your loved one. And it's different than when they have a body. We communicate differently. And there's a lot of communication things that we do that we aren't aware of. And we treat spirit like humans and we kind of miss each other in the communication field. So I'll highlight some of that today. But that's a 10-week series where you pick one like angelic guide, loved one, family member who has transitioned that you really want to communicate and open those lines of communication. And we use different techniques like building an altar and coming all the way through to how do you understand if you're being spoken to? Like, when is the right moment? Which is a good thing to talk about. So if you've ever felt like you want to talk to spirit or you've ever been interested in it, I would say that is you're in the right place. Like, if you felt like you wanted to, it means that there's a calling for it. There is a reason or purpose for it. So let's get into our talk today. And let me begin just by saying that communication to spirit or communication to energies, I don't want you to see it as special or separate or a skill that you have to build, because honestly, I truly believe, and I've witnessed this time and time again, that everybody has this ability, but it's about being present and being willing, like, to receive the information, being open to receiving it. It's also about being honest with what you're experiencing. So in that, you kind of have to step back from any kind of expectations. If you're new and you're hearing the bell in the background, that is a chime that a spirit likes to hit. Her name is Maitland. And so whenever it goes off, I like to think of it as a spirit highlighter. So we're saying something that she thinks is good to like remember or put in your back pocket. So that is not the spirit bell. I always like to tune into when she hits the chimes. If you have been practicing or looking at communicating with spirits, you'll probably recognize they don't come in with a lot of fireworks. It's not a big like ba-boom, like we just heard. There's no theme music that rolls in and a spotlight that shines on them and you're like, there you are, now I know what to do. And I would say if they came in that way, we would probably all be like a lot exhausted, just tired, because we would be managing on all the time. Because spirit doesn't just show up and communicate when we can connect or when we're ready. I mean, they're talking to us all the time. It's just about tuning in. And I agree with Luminaire Stewart, who's saying the more you do it, the easier it is. I talk to my other side family all the time. And so, like, Spirit Tea says, oh my God, I do that all the time. I treat them like myself and like as humans. This is where we're going to begin. So let's talk about how to recognize when it's the right time to start a conversation or to begin. What are the best questions to ask to stay in connection, and how to stay open and present without any kind of expectations hijacking the experience where you're like, this is not what I expected. And now everything just shuts down. So, how do we just come into something really, really exciting and stay neutral? So, when is it the right moment? The biggest misconception I would say is that you have to force the timing. Like you have to come into it and go, this is when I need you, this is how and keep it all structured. Like it actually doesn't. It can be very, very fluid. Yes, you can set up a time and you can say to spirit, like, I'm going to be communicating every day at 4 o'clock. And there's a rhythm to it, and spirit can get used to that. But it's not about coming into the meditation and forcing them to communicate to you. Like, I'm here, I'm ready, I have the telephone, you need to speak to me. So you can look at it in different ways because spirit is always communicating. It's not about getting them to perform bigger or louder, like the firework example. It's about, what are you noticing? Like, let's look at you as the receiving mechanism. And so there are very real ways that the right moment kind of shows up, like what's happening within you. And one of them I like to call it is the gentle tap or the nudge. Do you ever get the spirit nudge, that little gut, like, And sometimes it's an actual, like, hey, a little tap. This could be when you're doing something very routine, a daily act like washing dishes, dusting, driving, folding laundry. For some of us, it's showering or brushing your teeth, like very daily activities. And then suddenly, as you're doing this like a thought pops in, just something out of the normal arises in you. Thought, a color, a notion. It'll feel neutral, interesting, calm. Um, it doesn't feel like your like inner chatter. It doesn't feel like your mind going off and going, this is my imagination and I'm running with this and we're designing this and we're just going to go for it. It doesn't feel like you. That is the clear difference. And it could be something as simple as the nudge, like, call your mother. And you're like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about my mother. Why should I don't need to call my mother. But it's like this notion, this feeling. Or when you're doing something, it's like this instant urge to stop, slow down, pause, pull back. It could be stopping you from going out the front door or delaying your timing. That could be the actual like gentle tap or nudge. It could also be a sense of like consoling, where maybe you're in a high emotional situation and the gentle tap or the nudge is this, you're okay. And it's like deep inside, there's a lot of turmoil. And it's like, how you don't even have the strength to talk to yourself that way. But yet you're getting this overwhelming, maybe words, sensations, feelings. You're okay. You're going to be okay. And it's just like, okay. So when you get that gentle tap, that's like the first knock on the door. That's the one that you want to pay attention to. That's the one that says, you got the timing. When you feel something coming to you that's just a little bit wiser than you, it doesn't feel like you, it's beyond your natural level of like stress and anxiety of being a human. That's when it's happening. And so when it happens, instead of dismissing it, I would love if you did this. Did you get it? Just pause. Just say nothing. Just pause. Breathe. And I want you to either feel or say internally or even out loud, I'm listening. Or you can say, Hello. I like to say hello. I say hello a lot. I did it twice today in my office. There was some movement in the office, and I was like, oh, somebody is with me. Like, could really, it sounded like somebody walking down my hallway and rounding the corner. And I just went, hello. That's I'm listening. I'm connecting to you. Is there anything further that needs to happen? And that's it. Like, spirit doesn't need theatrics. Um, they're really just looking for acknowledgement. And so a simple nod, hello, or I'm listening is a good thing to do. Shadre says, I say hello too, or what's up? I'm going to do that now. What's up? Like, tell me more. Hi, Willie. Nice to have you here. Another thing you can do is notice when there's any kind of repetition. So this is another way of knowing if it's the right timing. So you might see the same number repetitively, the same symbol. You might hear a song connected to a loved one, and you hear it like 2 to 3 times in the week, and it's like a song that just doesn't get played anymore. And there it is in the store. There it is at the restaurant. There it is in your car. There it is in your friend's house. And you're just like, what? Or you keep thinking about somebody out of nowhere. Like your friend Tracy, who you haven't seen in 25 years. And you're like, Tracy, huh, that's interesting. And then later that night, you're like, oh my God, that looks like Tracy. Why am I thinking of Tracy? And then the next day, like, please, repetition is a spiritual highlighter, just like my little chimes in there that Maitland hits. So if it keeps showing up and gently like persisting and it's not going away, that's often an invitation. Invitation. It's really weird. I couldn't say the word. Invitation. So you want to pay attention to that. It's a welcoming moment. I know it's not dramatic. Again, it's not fireworks, but it's consistent. I tend to think, how I work this is the repetition. If it comes in threes and it's pretty close together, I'm not saying like one in January, one in March, and one in September. No, it'd be like one today, one later on today, and one tomorrow. Or if it's like throughout 3 days, one a day, it's kind of like, why is this happening? And if you're noticing it, you could say, what's up? No, you can say, is there something that you want me to understand? Is there something you want me to see? Is there something you want me to understand? Keep it conversational, keep it calm. They're starting to mess with my ear. It's going to start turning red, which is really funny. Spirit responds beautifully to curiosity. It's true. They can respond to directions and things like that, but to curiosity, because curiosity leaves your energetic field open. It's like ready and willing to motivate, to change. Another example could be to know if it's the right timing to begin is it's like a softening, and it's like an emotional softening. Let's talk about it. I think you know what I'm talking about, but this one often surprises people because it's not well like acknowledged because it can feel so personal. You think it's yours. So it's when you feel really, really peaceful for no reason at all. Just you're not distracted. You're really in your body. You're calm. You're not striving to do something. You just feel open. I often get this when I walk in nature. And when I'm in nature, I'm like, oh my God, I am so grounded. I am so quiet. I am so observing everything. I'm centered and I am connected to everything. And it's this emotional softening that occurs. So that's prime connection space. That is like big bells going off. That's them knocking on the door, hitting the doorbell repetitively. Like, come on, like use this. So when you feel it, even if it's just like 10 seconds that you've noticed it or less than a minute, if it's something even short, you can still use it to catapult you into a frequency where you can communicate with someone. I love it. You guys have seen repetitive numbers, shows Angel 244 is hers. Yes. So even if it's just really, really short, connection will start to grow in small, consistent windows. It's not like human conversations where we gap for a long time, then come back in 6 months and then have a 2 hour recap and then we're good again. Like when we're dealing with subtle light energy, it's subtle. So we can come in small little bites, but be repetitive, and that can build a beautiful connection and relationship, and also skills in communicating with them. All right, let's talk about best questions to ask to keep the connection together, because it's different than a human conversation. I find this is often where people either freeze up or overdo, just fall into it. It's too much. So either they're asking nothing, they get into it and they're like, hello, like somebody's here. Oh my God, hi. And then you blank out. Or they go to extremes like, what's the winning lottery number? You got to tell me everything right now. What's the secret to life? It's like, so let's try to keep it practical. So maybe I can offer some prompts or questions that you can get into, because spirit really responds beautifully to anything that's inviting growth, like growth for myself, clarity, alignment. They're really here to assist and help. They want to see you thrive. And you would like to have a new relationship, they want to see you thrive, like that goes together. They're here to really keep that energy flowing. So you could ask them, what would be helpful for me to understand right now? Well, that one in your back pocket. It's powerful because it just kind of removes any kind of pressure. You're not expecting them to say a certain thing to you. That really closes up the energy. So you could just say, what would be helpful for me to understand right now? It's not like, tell me everything or tell me this and prove that you're here and validate your thing. And it's more like, what would be helpful? That's more open-ended. You feel the differences? It signals a partnership. Like I'm willing to learn from you. I'm willing to hear from you. Because even as humans, we don't call somebody and go, all right, George, I know you picked up, but prove to me it's you. I know it sounds like you, but go ahead and tell me, how is it you? Can you send me a picture of yourself, or can you like move something in my room so I know that it's you? It gets really exhausting and tiring to be put through the validation like system every time you connect. So you could also ask, what is the most aligned next step? Not 10 steps, not like the end game. It's what's the next one for me, which is really sweet. It's not like a 5-year plan or the cosmic blueprint of your life kind of a thing. That's a lot to ask for. It's just the next step. It's not overwhelming, but it's moving the conversation forward. And so this can calm your nerves as you're in the conversation, and you'll stay longer. And you could probably hear one word responses from them like, oh, the next step, rest, pause, send the email. You get these small hits and you're like, oh, yes, I got that. Yes, I got that. Drink water, do this, do that. Okay, I can collaborate with that. I can work with that. It's really nice. I will say, if you get an entity that you ask, what is the next best step for me? And they go into this long thing about what you must do and what you cannot do and how you have to listen to them. And they give you all these warnings. If you don't do this, this will happen. And if you don't do that, that will happen. And this is bad. And this is this and this is that. I'd probably end the conversation. So when whoever you're connecting to doesn't have your best interest or is using manipulation or strategy tactics to get your energy to feed off of, they will give you clear directions and then tell you what will go wrong and what is bad to scare or manipulate you into a certain activity. You're communicating with spirit when, like spirit that's supporting you, when they're like, oh, try this. You asked, try that. And you don't feel any kind of hook or needle. You don't feel pressure. You don't feel, a demand pushing on you. So got to tune in, to those discernment energies inside of you. Another question you could ask is, how can I strengthen this connection? They're all open-ended questions. You see it? Keeps the channel open. You can get into better conversations. If you're not hearing spirit respond, you might feel the response, and you could feel, okay, I need to be consistent, or I need to journal more, or I need to be more focused, or be in silence, and listen to those little nudges. Tune into that. That was the first thing that we just talked about. Listen to the little nudges. Um, when you ask to strengthen a relationship, you move from being the visitor, the one that's popping in, kind of like, I need your responses and I need your energy and I need your guidance, to we're participating. We have a relationship together. And so in the 10-week series, not to go back to that, but we spend a lot of time discovering who are you communicating with, and how does it feel to be in honest communication, and using discernment to know who you're communicating with. I think that is I know it's very important. Lastly, I wanted to talk to you about how staying open without expectations. I mean, can you do this? Have you thought about this? Ooh, Willie says another question is, what can I do to help you now? Absolutely, because there are some spirits out there that enjoy that collaboration and need that return energy. Now, that's not going to be all of them, but yes, I think that is very kind heart that you want to ask if they need something as well. It's cool. So, how to stay open without expectations? This part can kind of make or break the connection. And so, if we look at holding expectations, I want you to imagine that expectations are really loud, they're kind of aggressive. It's like, jump monkey, behave and perform the way that I need you to, so I know you're really a monkey, you know? And subtle light energy is not that way. Spirit is subtle light energy, and it's called subtle for a reason. We need to step back, remove expectations and assumptions, and we need to apply curiosity and observation to get a really clear connection. So if you're waiting for that big booming voice that sounds like Morgan Freeman narrating your life, like, you just might be missing the whole whisper of everything. And so come down. Here's how to stay open. Here's how to stay in the game. First, I would ask that you just release the need to perform. It's easy to say it. And some of you might be thinking, what do you mean perform? So here are some things. And we could be taking this on by complete mistake. We're taught by someone that we really respect, and we're just like, that's the coolest thing, I'm doing it. There was a lot of awareness and lessons around communicating with spirit. It means that you need to increase your vibration to like a level 100. Like you've got to perform up here before they can come to get to you, or that you need some specific ritual, some specific thing, like lighting candles, or having certain music, or having a talisman, or having a certain crystal, or things of that nature, or sitting perfectly still for 45 minutes and blanking out your mind, and doing all these approaches. Now, there's nothing wrong really with those approaches, but they're not necessarily fully needed. Hopefully that was okay to say. They're not fully needed. Like, you can talk to spirit when you're going for a walk after dinner, or doing the dishes after dinner. You can even, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say, no, I'm not sorry. I'm going to say this out loud, but you can talk to spirit while you're driving. Just be safe. But you can do that. You can talk while you're cooking. Like, you don't have to set up a big ritual or routine to get tuned in. Your instrument, your body, what you have in you is made to do this. Your authenticity is your magnet to that spirit connection. So be you. Don't perform to anybody else's style of communication. Just be you. That's so sweet for you guys to say. Okay. Secondly, allow the first impression to land. Don't fall into second guessing. Your mind, when it gets that first impression, it's like, what is that? I need to flip that over. I need to edit that. I need to observe that. I need to slice and dice. Or your brain will just go, well, that was random, dismiss, dismiss. Or it'll go, that was just me thinking that. It's probably my imagination. I made it up, and dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. So let's practice letting the first impression land. Like just be on you for a second before shuffling it around. Because that first impression is usually the clearest, cleanest message that you'll pick up on. And yes, it can be really fast, very quick. It can actually be unemotional, so it kind of feels a little detached. It can come very blunt, so it feels very neutral, and it's just like information that just goes coming in. So instead of analyzing it, practice responding to it. Instead of dismissing, defending, slice and dice, respond. You could, like, if you do an example, if you sense, I need to take a different route home. Let's say you're driving and you're like, I got to turn left here. I normally take a right or I go straight. I got to turn left. So go ahead and try it. Like it's not putting you in danger or in harm's way. I want you to try what the first impression is giving you. Because these small acts of trust in the first impression is going to build your spiritual muscles. It's going to put together and help you validate what's really happening with you. So just go with the first impression, as long as you're physically safe. Lastly, stay curious. If you've been in any of my classes, you probably hear me say this 1,000 times. Be curious. Stay in a childlike wonderment. Find that carefree moment, that careless, not careless, but careless moment. So curious, not demanding. So instead of going, all right, spirit, you got to show me something big. You got to prove to me that you're here. Like we gave this example, it's like, help me notice you today. Help me notice you. Why can't you ask for that kind of help? Right? And instead of being like, perform, monkey, you're like, assist in me in understanding you, like assist in me noticing you, like help. Curiosity is going to keep the channel open longer and longer. Demand will shut it down real fast. Spirit's not here to perform like that. They're here to collaborate with you. So let them, give them opportunities to. So when you soften your expectation, the connection becomes really steady instead of super sporadic. That's where you want to be. So talking to spirit, like we've covered the right moment, best questions, and staying open and present without expectations. But really talking to spirit, it's not an out of body experience. It's a use your body as a tool and an instrument. It's about being more present in it, being in the now. It's not about escaping reality. It's about understanding it more. So stay in it. So when you're noticing subtle shifts, ask grounded, growth-oriented questions. We're real grounded. We're going to grow together. We're going to do this. Stay open, which means stay curious, my friend. Stay open without any kind of pressure. No pressure for performance. And then you'll start to begin to experience something quite beautiful. It'll be different than the conversations that you're holding with people or duplicating that conversation human to human to human to spirit. You know, it starts to turn into a real conversation. Not like conversations aren't real, but more authentic, more honest, more gentle, more surprising, you know, more of a incredible loving outcome. Aha moments start to spark everywhere. So if you're curious about talking to spirit, it didn't come, that curiosity didn't just pop out of nowhere. It's there because that connection from human to spirit is really, really natural. And your body does this. It naturally does this. So instead of thinking that I have to turn it on, I have to force it, or I have to perform to it, I want you to start realizing that spirit communication is happening all the time. All the time. Your role is simply to notice it, respond, articulate, or participate, and start small. It doesn't have to be big. Small, consistent touch-ins that will help build the trust. Keep going. Spirit's really patient. They'll wait for you. They have plenty of time. Their time is not linear. It's just us. So, if any of this interests you and you have these ideas or you want to experience some of this in an applied like homework or action, check out the 10 days or 10 days. Why am I going? It's 10-week series. Check out the Building New Relationship with Loved Ones. And if not, and this has inspired you to look at different ways of approaching in your meditation and communicating with spirit, just even better. Just keep going. Come on, keep going. This is real. I thank you so much for being here and chatting it up on the thread. It was really, really wonderful to see you guys support each other and throw out new suggestions and questions. I super appreciate it. If you're here watching the recording, please leave your comments below, or we will get to them, and you can hit the notification bell to see when we come on live again. And for some of you, I will see you in Sedona for the Accessing Higher Consciousness Energy. I cannot wait. Overall, remember, this is not woo-woo. It's true. I'll see you later. Bye, everyone. Take care.